Hello, this is Sunday, March 26th, 2017, and last Wednesday I had 200 trees, bare root trees, come in, and these are the hazelnuts. And no, I don't need 300 trees, but there's logic to this madness. I was able to order all of this from a website, I'll put it down below, and for a little over $160 with shipping, handling, taxes, everything, I got 300 trees. I'm not keeping all of them. I wanted a minimum of 4 per varieties that I ordered. I only ordered 12 varieties, 25 of each. These are the hazelnuts, or filberts, some people call them. And I picked out the ones that had the best roots, that weren't splitting. Like this one, see, this one's already splitting. This one was damaged, but it was also splitting, but this one was broken. And some of them just didn't have really good root systems. This one had root systems that was spread out on one side. That's why it's kind of in there like this, instead of centered like most of them. I need to put some more soil on these because as it watered and settled. But I try to put at least 10 into their own buckets. This is Elderberry. Yes. And again, I tried to do the same thing, but you see they're already doing that. Look at that. Isn't that nice? And with these, they would make a nice hedge, so I can easily use 10 or more. Oh goodness. Definitely need more soil on that one. And make a hedge of elderberries. Actually, 2 hedges would be good. So, hazelnuts, elderberry. This is red mulberry. I've never had elderberry or mulberry. Again, this would make a hedge. And I'm coming back and putting more compost on the ones that I see that are low. Had to dump these buckets that I used last year, and I'm mixing the soil, bringing it down, breaking it apart and crumbling it and mixing it with 1/3 to almost 1/2 of the clay dirt that I've got around here. So I didn't do that with the hazelnuts or the elderberry, but I'm not going to worry about that at this point. But then I started mixing it because I got such great results with that when I did the okra last year with the clay in there. The ones that were just compost versus the compost with clay, the one with the clay did so much better. This is black walnuts. And again, I picked the best 10 or so. And we love walnuts, so we've got that. These didn't come labeled, but I was pretty sure. And by process of elimination, these are the pecans. Oh, definitely need more dirt on all these. It settled a lot more than I thought. When you're using the fresh dirt, even with shaking the pots to settle the dirt some, a good watering will settle most of the air bubbles, and you're going to lose about 1 inch or 2, depending on how big the thing is. So I got to get more dirt in this, but these are the pecans, and my husband loves pecans, so definitely need to do a pecan grove. And here I picked out the best, again, 10. And probably lost this one, Lavender, that I had planted from last year. I grew all of these from seed except for one I bought. And this was in the buckets, and I should know what that is. My mom, I think she does, so I'll show this to her. And I think that's an edible. But anyway, wanted to identify it and not toss it out. But a lot of the buckets were overgrown with, here this is centipede grass and all sorts of other, had a bunch of clover like this in there, or sorrel, and I think wild lettuces and dandelions and chickweed and all sorts of things. So I was just dumping them out here on this. I'm not worried about cleaning that up. They can just go into conditioning what's here. Eventually this area is going to be covered over cement or rock or something. But for now, these trees, young trees, have to be protected from heat. So this is the north side of the house. So I'm excited about all of this. This is Serviceberry. I'm excited about that. Look them up. Look up all these things. This is it looks like a blueberry. It could be mistaken for a blueberry. If someone put service berries on my plate, I would not know the difference between a blueberry and a serviceberry. Maybe I'll learn, but I'm excited. These are already starting to bud, even though that one's broken. But yeah, they'll be leafing out or blooming soon. This is Persimmons? No, pawpaws. These are the pawpaws. I've never had that. I'm not exactly sure. This one had a good root system. I don't like the way it's doing the V, but we'll see. These are Sandbar Willows, and they're just cutting. There's no roots, but they're obviously taking in. That was not there. I got these Wednesday, and then Thursday I got 100 more trees. All came in. So late into the night Friday, I finally got them all potted because I knew I was going to be busy Saturday. We were going out of town. Let's see how that one's already definitely going to bud and root. And I want to put these into their own individual pots, but I just short on time, so I had to start bunching them all up. This is the Persimmons. These are all wild persimmons, which are, they only get this big. And if you saw my other persimmon video of the Japanese persimmons, my delusions, intentions, plan, whatever you want to call it, is to graft those Japanese persimmons onto several of these. I try to get the thickest ones into their own buckets and leave the scrawnier ones in these. Eventually they'll all get their own individual buckets, but I just didn't have the time or the room to do it that way. But I'm going to graft at least 2 varieties of the Japanese persimmons onto these and leave a few, plant them out in the woods, because I like the wild variety. The seeds are kind of interesting. You've seen that persimmon lady doing the weather forecasting from the seeds, doing spoons or forks on the inside. Here, these are wild plums, and they're not going to go in the orchard, but they're going to go out in the woods. I want to establish a bunch of these, and if they're like the ones that I'm familiar with, they'll drop a bunch of fruit, and they'll seed themselves, and you'll have like a little patch of wild plums for a while, and then it seems like they all get wiped out at one time. So it'll be a process of transplanting some of the younger ones to different areas and see what happens with that over time, because they last for a few years. You'll see a big old patch, and all of a sudden they're dead, just gone. This is willow, not willow, witch hazel. Yeah. And I already got 2 nice sized witch hazel plants that I need to plant permanently somewhere, but I wanted some more of this, and I've already got people asking to get my extras, some trade on some stuff, and I think this is just a neat thing I think this is a neat plant and very useful plant. I got all the nuts and fruit ones that they had available, and then I didn't want any pines or any more oaks of any wild varieties, or but the willow I just think weeping willows are just pretty. They're just pretty trees, but you have to be careful where you plant them. So I was planning on putting them down in the gully where it's kind of swampy, so they'll like that. But willows are also used, the rooting hormone that you buy, if you don't have rooting hormone, if you take a piece of a willow tree and just cut off a limb and put it in the water with what you're trying to root, it's the same stuff. It has that hormone that causes the plants that will root from cuttings to produce roots. So I wanted to have that on hand and quit buying the powders. Now this one I still got to do some more research on, but this is a Kentucky coffee tree. And there's some bad stuff on it too, but I don't know. I'm leaning more toward the beneficial stuff on it, and sometimes you do want you have to make a choice. There's a lot of things that's good for you used a certain way or moderation, and when you cross that line it becomes toxic and it can be very harmful. And I'm thinking this is one of the plants, but the roots look almost like ginseng and they smell like ginseng, which makes me think I need to do a lot more research on this. But I was looking for an alternative to coffee, and it doesn't actually have caffeine, even though it's got the taste. But anyway, do your own research. I just thought this was interesting. So, the whole north side of my house has these. And I'm excited. This is, we're going to go ahead and sell our goats. We've put that off for a year, thinking maybe we'll get back to milking them, but we're going to try to get away from dairy, which is going to be hard for us since we enjoy it. We've gotten hooked on it. But once the goats are moved, I'll have that area to do more of the orchard with some of the fruit varieties. The nut varieties need more room. And I still have the chestnut trees and fig trees that I'm planting. And I need to see which ones I planted out in the wild, in the woods, if any of them survived. And the ones that didn't survive, I need to replace with a new one. So, a lot going on, and then still taking care of my mom, who, by all medical rights, shouldn't be alive. But she's doing well. But I think there's a decline happening, and it's harder for me to see since I see her every day, and having my sisters come up and seeing her and noting the differences from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Just got to count every day a blessing, no matter what happens or doesn't happen, and be a blessing. So, anyway, this is what 300 bare root trees looks like. Thanks for watching.